Hello everyone, myself Sriman from CSMT section. Here I am going to say about supporting object-oriented program of semantic web software. Introduction. Object-oriented program and semantic web software are two powerful paradigms in software development. Combining OOPS with SWS enables the developers to create more flexible and scalable applications. This presentation will explore how to support OOPS in the context of semantic web software. If you go to next slide, first of all, what is object oriented programming? OOPS is a programming paradigm that organizes the around objects which represent the real world entities. Objects have methods, attributes, and behaviors that interact with each other. OOPS promotes a code reusability, modularity, and encapsulation. Then, what is semantic web software? Semantic web software is the extension of World Wide Web that adds meaning to the data, allowing machines to understand and process it. SWS uses the ontologies to define the relationships between entities and enable reasoning. SWS are advanced applications like intelligent search recommendation systems and knowledge graphs. Then, what are the benefits of OOPS in SWS? OOPS provides a modular and structured approach to software development, uh, and this OOPS allows you to code reuse, reducing development and the effort. And this OOPS enables abstraction and encapsulation for making code easier to understand and maintain. If we talk about the challenges of OOPS in SWS, this SWS introduces the additionally and complexity due to the need of semantic modeling and reasoning. Mapping between object oriented models and semantic models can be challenging. This interaction of SWS with existing OOP framework and tools are non trivial. Then, what are the bridging the gap of ontology driven development? Ontology driven development or is an approach that combines OOPS and SWS. ODD means ontology driven development, can short said as OD. So from now on I'll say OD. OD uses the ontologies to represent domain concepts and relationships. OD enables the creation of object oriented models that are aligned with the semantic models. Then what are the key principles of OD? First is the identifying the key domain concepts and relationships which represent them in the ontology map of ontology concepts and object oriented classes, attributes and methods. Use reasoning capabilities to infer the additional knowledge and validate the consistency. Then, what are the tools in OD? There are several tools to support, such as ProtoTeach, TopBread, Composer, and Eclipse. These tools provide graphical interfaces for ornithology modeling and editing. They are also refer integration with the popular object-oriented programming languages. Let's discuss the example scenario or in practice. Let's consider example of building of a semantic based software application. We can define this ontologies for entities like users, posts, comments, and relationships between them. So we can map this ontologies to object oriented classes and implement the logic. So, what are the mapping ontology concepts to classes? Identifying ontology concepts that correspond to classes in the object oriented model, mapping ontology properties to class attributes, and ontology relationships to class associations to ensure the object oriented model captures the semantic and constraints the defined ontology. So let's discuss the tools for OR. There are several tools for Prophet Stopbroad Composer. These tools are graphical interface for ontology modeling and editing. They also offer the integration popular object oriented programming. Oh, sorry, it's due to the problem of the slide. So I'm continuing. Mapping ontology concepts to classes. Then, first of all, identify the ontology concepts that correspond to classes in object oriented model. Map ontology properties to class attributes and ontology relationships to class associations. Ensure the object oriented models that captures the semantic constraints defined in ontology. Then, what are the leveraging reasoning or reasoning can be used to infer new knowledge based on the defined ontologies. Reasoning can help the validating the consistency of object-oriented model. Reasoning engines like Pellet and Hemit are can be integrated in the development process. So if we test and debug the odd applications, let's see some of them. Testing odd applications requires considering both and the object oriented and semantic aspects. Test cases should cover both the functionally and the correctness of infrared knowledge. Debugging this odd applications may involve the inspecting the object oriented program, ornithology, and reasoning results. Then, what about its performance considerations? Thus, odd applications may face performances challenges due to reasoning overhead. This optimizations techniques like uh, catching, incremental reasoning, and parallelization can be applied. Profiling and benchmarking should be performed to identify the performance bottlenecks. Then, what are the odd best practices? First, they start with the clear understanding of the domain and define the ontologies accordingly. They maintain a close collaboration between domain experts, ontologists, and software developers. Regularly validate and refine the ontologies and their mappings to the object oriented model. Then, what are the case studies to discuss? Several successful projects have applied and have adopted for developing semantic web software. For example, include semantic search engines, recommendation systems, and intelligent assistants. These case studies demonstrate the benefits of OOPS in leveraging the power of SWS. So, before discussing the conclusion, let's first of all revise what we have discussed from first. In first side, we have discussed the introduction, what is OOPS, combining OOPS and SWS, and the in this presentation, what we are going to discuss. What is OOPS? You know that. And what is semantic web software? It is the extension of World Wide Web that adds meaning to data for following machines to understand the process it. Benefits of OOPS in SWS we have discussed, and we have discussed the challenges of OOPs in SWS, and we have discussed the ontology driven development, that means OD. We have discussed the key principles of OD, that means that ontology driven development. We have discussed the tools for OD. We have discussed OD in practice for with example scenario by taking building as an example, and we have discussed mapping ontology concepts to classes, how to identify ontology concepts and to correspond to classes in the object oriented model, and we have discussed leverage reasoning in OD. We have discussed testing and debugging of OD applications, that is, we can consider both the object oriented semantic aspects, and we have discussed the performance considerations, that is applications may perform challenges due to reasoning overhead, and we have discussed the odd best practices, that means in a clear understanding the domain and define ontologies accordingly, and we have discussed the case studies. Now let's this is a time to conclude the video. OOPS and SWS are complementary paradigms that combine to create a powerful state. OD provides a structured approach to support OOP in context in SWS. By leveraging the ontologies and reasoning, OD enables a development and flexible and scalable semantic web applications. Thank you, one and all.